In the modern world, there is no force more psychologically charged than money. It is a silent deity, not carved in stone or worshipped in temples, but revered in minds and pursued through lives. Money, in its essence, is not merely paper, not merely coin, not even merely digital figures blinking in a screen. It is psychic energy materialized, and in this energy lies a test, not of one's material cunning, but of one's. For every individual, the way they relate to money reveals the architecture of their inner world, and to chase money blindly may be to dance in the shadow of oneself. We must begin with the realization that money, like all powerful symbols, has a dual nature. On one side, it is the means to survival, to security, to comfort. On the other, it is the projection screen for our unconscious desires, fears, and shadows. When an individual is possessed by the desire for wealth, often it is not the money itself that is sought, but something deeper: status, safety, power, love, validation, even immortality. Thus the pursuit of money becomes an unconscious ritual, a neurotic striving to satisfy inner needs that have never been examined. There is nothing inherently evil about money. The problem arises when one identifies with it. When the ego fuses itself with wealth, when the self is defined by what is owned, then the individual has slipped into a dangerous illusion, the illusion that one's worth is extrinsic, not intrinsic. And here lies the spiritual test. To make money, and yet not be made by it. To possess wealth, and yet not be possessed by it. We often imagine spiritual trials as dramatic events, wilderness wanderings, dreams of angels or demons, near-death encounters. But often, they appear in the disguise of the mundane. Your career, your ambition, your bank account, these may be the most potent arenas of your inner evolution. To rise in the world without falling into your own abyss. That is the paradox. That is the trial. Many people work relentlessly to become rich, believing that the goal will deliver them from suffering. But one must ask, what is it that truly suffers? Is it the body that needs more than enough? Or is it the psyche that feels empty in the absence of external achievement? Often, the hunger for more is not a financial hunger, but a spiritual one. The soul, left unfed by truth and meaning, seeks consolation in accumulation, and in this way, money becomes not a tool, but a substitute for wholeness. The archetype of the rich man is deeply embedded in the collective unconscious. He is the king, the merchant, the alchemist, but he is also the miser, the tyrant, the dragon sitting atop a pile of gold. In every myth where treasure is guarded, we find a deeper truth. The treasure is not meant to be hoarded, but transformed. The gold must not stagnate, it must circulate. Psychologically, this means wealth is meant to serve the development of the self, not to inflate the ego. One must ask themselves, what do I fear more, poverty or meaninglessness? Many will discover that the fear of being poor is merely a mask hiding the deeper fear of being nobody. The anxious pursuit of wealth is often driven by a desperate attempt to assert one's existence. I am rich, therefore I am. But such a philosophy will inevitably lead to psychic collapse, for when the external world inevitably shifts, and it always does, the foundation of the ego is shattered. True individuation requires that we examine our relationship to money with ruthless honesty. Do we fear not having enough, or do we fear what we might discover if we no longer had this pursuit to distract us? For some, wealth is a way to avoid inner work. As long as one is climbing, hustling, competing, one need not look within. The chase becomes a defense mechanism against self-confrontation. Yet, money can also be a mirror. The way we earn it, the way we spend it, the way we think about it, all reveal aspects of the unconscious. Some spend compulsively, as if money were burning a hole in their psyche. Others hoard it, as if it could shield them from the inevitable tragedies of existence. Still others give it away recklessly, in unconscious attempts to buy love or cleanse guilt. None of these behaviors are truly free. They are patterns, driven by inner complexes left unexamined. To pass the spiritual test of money, one must become conscious of these patterns. One must observe, without judgment, the ways in which one projects the inner onto the outer. The man who cannot rest unless his bank account grows, is not chasing money, but chasing control. The woman who fears losing her wealth, fears losing her identity. These patterns are not sins. They are invitations. Invitations. Discover the hidden narratives that shape one's life. The archetype of the self, which seeks wholeness and integration, calls us not to reject wealth, but to relate to it consciously. When money serves the self, it becomes a means to express one's gifts, to create beauty, to bring order to chaos. When money serves the ego alone, it becomes a mask, a trap, a golden prison, and thus, the question arises, is your wealth an expression of your inner essence, or a compensation for its absence? In the unconscious, money often symbolizes psychic energy. We invest in things. We spend time. We pay attention. These are not mere metaphors. They reflect a deeper truth. How you relate to money is how you relate to your own energy, your own value, your own life force. If you squander it, you likely squander your potential. If you hoard it, you may also hoard your gifts. If you fear it, you may fear your own power. Therefore, money becomes the outer symbol of the inner economy of the soul. And so, making money is not merely a material act. It is a spiritual encounter. It is a confrontation with one's own desires, fears, projections, and values. Each transaction is a tiny ritual. Each business decision a reflection of one's psychic state. The man who exploits others to gain wealth is not cunning. He is unconscious. He has become possessed by the shadow, blind to the suffering he causes, because he cannot face the suffering within himself. The integration of money into one's life requires deep inner work. One must go into the shadow and see where the fear of lack originated. Perhaps in childhood, money was equated with love, or perhaps it was a source of conflict, shame, or betrayal. These early experiences form psychic imprints that shape adult behavior. To become free of them, one must confront them. One must descend into the underworld of memory and retrieve the lost pieces of the soul. Only then can money become what it truly is, a neutral force, a servant, not a master, a means, not an identity. The individual who has passed this spiritual test does not fear poverty, nor does he worship wealth. He sees clearly the illusions that money can cast, and he remains centered in the truth of his being. He may make great wealth, but he does not belong to it. He belongs to the self, to the mystery of existence, to the path of becoming. It is not wrong to desire wealth, but the question is, who in you desires it? Is it the conscious individual seeking expression and freedom, or is it the wounded child, the anxious ego, the insecure persona? If it is the latter, no amount of money will ever be enough. The hunger will grow, the anxiety will deepen, and the soul will starve. But if the pursuit is aligned with the self, with a deeper calling, then money becomes sacred. It becomes a symbol of transformation. Many people lose themselves in the pursuit of riches, but a few find themselves there. These are the ones who have seen through the illusion, who have faced the dragon within, and who have emerged not with gold alone, but with wisdom. They know that the true treasure is not in the vault, but in the heart, that the real riches lie not in accumulation, but in authenticity, and that the deepest wealth is to be wholly oneself. The final test is not whether you can make money. The world is full of clever people who do. The test is whether you can remain yourself while doing so, whether you can walk through the fire of ambition and emerge unburned, whether you can touch gold without turning to stone. This is not a test of skill. It is a test of soul, and few pass it. But if you do, if you earn and spend and give and live with your eyes open, then money becomes something new. It becomes energy, aligned with purpose. It becomes a force of healing, not harm. And most importantly, it becomes a tool in the service of love, truth, and wholeness. In the end, the question is not what money can do for you. The question is who you become in the presence of money. That is your real wealth, and that is your real test.